Bitcoin is now over 10k, but what does this mean for altcoins? Listen up. So welcome. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell button, like. Apologies, it's a bit dark, so I might be a bit transparent. I do apologise. It is not great in the UK right now, especially where I live. It rains every day. So if you've been living under a rock, you've probably noticed one or two little things. One, you've came out, Bitcoin is over 10k. What on earth? Weekend pump, I know, but this is a very, very important video, so please do stick around because I'm going to teach you something about dominance and why this chart is very, very important in terms of altcoins. They are bleeding. Not everyone has really noticed yet. That is the biggest underlying problem with that. So let's talk about it. BTC has soared a lot and it has been doing some little pumps, but we are going to make more notice of the fact of demand of Bitcoin and Ethereum over the course of altcoins. Altcoins have had their day, in my opinion. I've been absolutely battered in the comments on recent videos because I've been taking profits. VeChain, for example, we'll go over that in a second. I took profits, doing quite well. Cardano took profits, doing quite well. Zilliqa taking profits, doing quite well. You can see the drift here. There's always a time and a place to take profits, especially in investments. And this is, in my opinion, one of the ways that you can find out when to take profits when altcoin versus the BTC situation of dominance. If BTC dominance goes up, the altcoin dominance goes down. Therefore, you bleed out. So let's talk about the dominance chart. So overall, you can see here, you know, if I just zoom out a little bit, bear with me, let's make this big screen. There you go, happy days. If I zoom out a little bit, you know, this is kind of where we're at. Over the course of 2018, it was quite stable, in and around the 50 levels. Altcoins were still quite high in price. Ethereum was sitting at good levels, all kinds of good stuff. But then all of a sudden they tanked massively and the dominance of Bitcoin rose huge numbers, right? To huge, incredible numbers, okay? Big problems there. Your Satoshi values of your altcoins are obviously going lower and lower and they are bleeding out quite significantly. Now, over the course of the last 6 months, essentially, we've been riding down and gradually, even more so, coming down quite a lot over the previous 6 months, especially. Obviously, this is, you get my picture. We went down to these sort of low levels, 62. We went and tested that again, and we've bounced back up a bit. Now, in my opinion, I think this is a kind of possibly the end of the alt season, essentially, the hype of the DeFi kind of thing running out. This is a biggish kind of area to go from mid-May down to like, what, end of July, essentially. A big run, technically an alt season. You got to look at how alt seasons kind of manifest. When they go down, little alt seasons, they tend to go back up. We could be going back up here. If we go back up to those 66 levels, which is kind of the average mean at the moment of altcoin and BTC dominance, essentially, it's kind of key. So just be careful of that. If that does happen, your altcoins are going to come down in price in BTC values, meaning that you're going to have more Satoshis essentially underwater, dying. Not good. So just be careful of that. So what we're looking at to do in here, if you zoom in, if this does go up in price, not in price essentially, but dominance increases, and we go back up to these levels up and around this box here, well, you've got to be careful and you've got to think, well, logically, what I would love to do in this region here is buy more altcoins, essentially. Not so much in USD values, but in BTC. If you've got spare Bitcoin, you've got to look for possible entry levels when dominance is in and around that region or even higher. So that is the tail of the trick. Now, the other trick is obviously the altcoin total 2 chart. This is still going up. That's good. But it's also showing sign of weakness with this level up here. This is the top. If this is the top, as in we confirm that this is resistance level up and around this region here, and this is a possible exit sign, right? Where literally if you go take profit, for example, and we do go down, and this goes down, and dominance goes up, your Satoshi value is going to get absolutely battered to. They're going to go, right? So let's just simplify this simple ways. If you've got one BTC in value of Ethereum, right? And Ethereum retraces because the dominance of BTC is going up because it's pumping or whatever, or people have taken profits, you know, you may have $300 worth for example, in value or whatever valuation it is, but you may not actually notice that your Satoshi values are dropping. So you may have that one BTC in there, and it may then all of a sudden over a 3-week period go down to say 0.89. And you're thinking, hold on a minute, my fiat value hasn't really moved yet. My Satoshis have. You've got to look at the Satoshi values of coins. So just to give you a bit of an insight here, let's look at Cardano. Cardano, happy days, right? BTC values. Obviously, we've got staking coming out, all kinds of stuff like that. It had a decent leg up. We're up to this daily level, starting to retrace. Cool, right? If you zoom out a little bit, you're going to see where it's been. Personally, I feel like this is going to go up long term, right? But short term pain, there might be some. If the BTC values obviously change. If this does gradually come down, you're going to see some really good buy orders if you're using BTC. Make that aware. Okay. When you look at the USD values of this in Satoshi versus Satoshi, it's obviously different. Looks totally different. This has obviously been going up quite a bit as well. But you may find that this actually holds higher and steady because BTC is pumping. Remember, BTC price, the USD values, I feel it's hypocritical pricing the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in fiat. It is very, very hypocritical technically. I always do it in Satoshi values. It makes more sense. I do with my videos in USD to make it easy to understand. But if you're thinking this, if Bitcoin rallies really hard, like really, really goes for it, you may find that your USD values of your altcoins may actually go up a little bit. And this is where the confusion lies. The confusion is you're going to see this going up or stabilize and going up to certain targets. People are thinking they're doing well. They're like, oh, haha, hee hee. But actually, their wealth in cryptocurrency is actually going down because the BTC value will be doing the polar opposite. So if I go to the compare chart here, if I put in, bear with me, if I do it correctly, obviously, that will make a big difference. If I put in ADA BTC right now, you're seeing already there's a bit of a weird sort of element here where you may find that obviously like this is coming down, that's going up, right? That would have been when BTC was doing something or the altcoins are doing something. You got to look at where this correlation goes. If you start to see these candles going up and this blue line going down, you're not looking very, very healthy. It could realistically happen in a very, very flash, very, very quick time, and you get decouplings like this. So just be careful. Look at the chart and see what they're telling you. That is the most important thing. Do not get caught up in emotion of, oh my God, we've got X, Y, and Z coming out. Well, if the market conditions are not quite there, you got problems. Now, let's talk about a few other things and altcoins that I've obviously got. I've been taking profits, and I've mentioned this at the start of the video. Let's talk about VeChain, because I got absolutely battered for this. Let's look at the facts here. This was my sell position in VeChain, 207. I jumped back in here 2 days ago, nabbed a little bit extra VeChain, essentially. So what I did was the money that I took out at the profit level, 260% profit, put back in, got a few more extra VeChain, back out again, and now we're sinking even lower. So you've got to remember, taking profit is obviously key. My light's falling down. So taking profit is obviously very, very key. But when you're looking to accumulate over time, that's what you got to do. You got to buy low, sell high, re-input it back at the lower levels. I always, top tip, always hold the asset, right? So I've got a load of this in cold storage in my sync wallet, whatever. I have some on the exchanges. I will take profit on the exchanges and move it into something stable. I put it into Bitcoin. I'm trading in Bitcoin. So I've got a load of Bitcoin there. If this carries on sinking, I will keep gradually adding back into this position and get more VeChain for free. That is how I do it. It's a very, very simple way of doing it. It's how a lot of other people do it as well. The whales, simple ways of doing it. Just take profit, for fuck's sake. Do not worry. People are always in that mindset that it's going to go up to $1 million. Woohoo! Doesn't always work like that. Trust me on that one. So that is obviously VeChain looking quite handy, quite good. Zilliqa, again, as you can see, I sold very late on Zilliqa. I openly admit that I fucked up on this one. But ultimately, you know, if you were selling up at these levels, which I should have done, idiot, perfect little pattern there. But I sold at 200 Satoshis, happy days. Even still, I'm more than happy with that if that carries on. I jumped back in the other day, jumped back out again. got a few extra Zilliqa, happy days. Other coins that I'm looking at, and I also mentioned, is obviously Kyber Network. I'm excited about Kyber Network. I bought a little bit here at this support level, thinking it was going to bounce, but it didn't, obviously. But I only put a little bit in. I'm looking to accumulate more. This is obviously one area I can buy, another area here, another area here. I like Kyber Network, obviously, as a liquidity provider, but ultimately I want it because you can get staking rewards in Ethereum. But I'm also thinking, well, actually, it's a liquidity provider for Ethereum. I'm bullish on Ethereum long term. I think this will be a good coin long term. So I'm trying to get some good orders in. Bought a little bit up here. I will keep adding to my bag all the way down to the floor. And yeah, long-term hold, I'm more than happy with that. So in terms of that, video is pretty much almost done. But I want to touch on Bitcoin because obviously we are doing very, very well right now. But I do think that this could be interesting. Now, the next few days are interesting. One, can we stabilize above 10K? That is obviously key. If we do that, interesting. But can we get over 10.5? If we get over 10.5, things are going to obviously run away a little bit. And that will obviously mean that altcoins will come down. You can see already with the altcoins, it looks a bit of a mess when you look at that. But ultimately, fundamentals are key. The fundamentals of Bitcoin is quite strong in an economic downturn. Technically, didn't happen in the previous one. I want to see, can Bitcoin hold when there's uncertainty in the air? The stock market is very uncertain right now. We're at all-time high levels in certain indexes, very, very close to severe yearly pumps. Huge moves. Will they correct? Gold right now is all-time high as you're watching this video. Profits have been taken, moved into gold. So for me, uncertainty is in the air. But if Bitcoin dumps and the altcoins have already been taken profit and put into Bitcoin, that could lead to a whole cascade of redness. So just be careful. Do not FOMO into any positions right now, in my opinion. Buy the dip if you're comfortable with what you're willing to lose and risk, but I would personally wait. So there we go. Today's video is done. Video here and here for other bits and bobs to learn. And yeah, have a good Monday. It might be a bit rough, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, can we hold over 10K? That is the ultimate question.